everyone. I'm Cream Ray, your host at the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Diego Hurtado, a multifaceted soccer professional and the founder of Diaza Football. With a rich background spanning from playing at professional levels to establishing a unique soccer apparel brand, Diego embodies the essence of a true soccer spirit. Join us as we explore his captivating journey from the fields of Colombia to the bustling streets of New York and how he's redefining the soccer culture with Diaza Football. Diego, thank you so much for taking the time today. How's it going?
Hey, no, my man, Karim, thank you. Thank you for the time. It's a pleasure to be here, Like I told you before, I love what you're doing and nothing. I'm very grateful to be part of it.
Thank you so much. I want to, before we dive into the questions, I want to give a huge shout out to Chris Kofman, who, introduced us and, helped us get this set up. So shout out to Chris. He's also a part of your company. So, we'll talk a bit about that later. But, for the viewers, what is Diaza? And am I saying it properly? Diaza.
Yeah, Diaza, yeah. No, I mean, Diaza is, to start, Diaza is obviously, the brand that we have built, but the word Diaza, it comes from the ancestors from Colombia, right? Obviously, I'm from Colombia. And the word Diaza means when the tribes, right, they have a leader. They have somebody that it was there, the hardworking guy. And this guy need to have Diaza to be the leader, right? Like he had to have like hard work, persistence, like he had to be tough, in situations. He needed to be disciplined in order to be that leader, right? So I think that aligns perfect with soccer, right? That not everybody, have the ambitions to be the leader, to be the one right there, but everybody has the ambitions to get at some point somewhere in soccer, right? So what you need for that, you need hard work, persistence, perseverance. You know how hard it is, man. And especially nowadays, so many players, so many people playing. You really need to stand out somehow. And I think having the Diaza mentality will get you stand out.
Absolutely. You also played, soccer professionally. Could you just share a little bit about your playing experience?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I play for for the New York Cosmos. I play for a team that is called right now Miami United. And I got the happiness, to play against Adriano the Emperador. I was with him in that team. A bunch of Brazilians that really, really, like, I didn't even think I could be at that level, Then from that, I played in Las Vegas Lights with Eric Winalda. Then I went to a little bit in Tulsa. Then I went to Milwaukee when it was the new NISA MPSL Pro projects. And then I ended up trying out for New Amsterdam and New York. And that's when, I decided to stay here in New York.
Got it. So just honestly, Diego, like a few days ago, I was on Instagram and, obviously I watch a lot of soccer content and your ad popped up, your brand. And it was like the video was high quality. It was like an event that you guys hosted. Ronaldinho was there. Could you share a little bit about that? Like, what the event was for and how did you get Ronaldinho? That's a legend right there.
yeah. Man, that's been crazy. That was a crazy move that we did. It was just a few weeks ago. I mean, it's through soccer, right? Through the connections that I had from soccer. It was I played before I started playing with Miami with all the teams that I mentioned. I played for another project that they were building a pro team, right? And they were a bunch of Brazilians, and in that team, the coach and the left back, they were very close to Ronaldinho. Obviously, I didn't know nothing about that, and when I was playing in that team, right? But obviously, I became really good with them. I'm always very like I don't like to close any doors or to be the bad guy or anything like that. I just like to be cool with everybody. And then I was really cool with the left back, and the result was that he's best friends with Ronaldinho, and
Wow.
now he works with him, and he's one of his agents, right? So obviously, when we created Diaza and we started like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, we started joking with him and saying like, hey, this year we're going to have Ronaldinho wearing Diaza. And, I was texting him and everything like that. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe one day. And one day he texts us and he's like, hey, listen, Are we gonna get Ronaldinho in Diaza? I have an event. We need a brand. We have Puma and Nike in the table. What if you guys make a proposal? And then, man, we make the proposal, we win in the table, we knock these brands out, and we got the deal, man. And I always thought it was possible, but I didn't think it was gonna be this soon, right? And it's been great, man. I mean, obviously, seeing Ronaldinho, and not just him, it was a bunch of guys, Beron, Baban Zamorano. It was like South Americans that are really, really known in the soccer space, against huge singers from Colombia, like reggaeton and all that. These guys were like huge as well. So having all those people playing a soccer game, relating music with soccer, and just Diaza being there, with the graphics, with the videos, with the soccer balls, with everything. It was just amazing, man. Like, that experience was really good. Like, I to this day, I'm like, wow, we made it happen. So it was really cool, man, to have it.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you. And again, like, this is Ronaldinho, so that's a legend, to a lot of people, and for me as well. I grew up watching him a bit, and he was very fancy on the field. With saying that, how long did that deal take for you guys to close?
Well, that's what I said. Like, you always gotta plant the seed, right? And you never know when it's gonna really grow big or it's gonna grow just little by little. I think the deal was made in, like, you'll say 20 days, not even like 10 days, right? He made the call, we had to run, make the presentations. Then it was only like 20 days left for the event. So we have to do the clothing, we work like crazy for that event. But I'll say that didn't start there, right? That started with my messages a year ago with, texting Ronaldinho's best friend. His name is Rodrigo and Joao, telling them, hey, listen, we might get Ronaldinho with Diaza, right? And they putting them in their mind like, hey, maybe one day. And just the hard work that we've done for the last 2-3 years, it shows, right? Because it's not just about being friends with them, it's about having the right product, right? Because I could have said, hey, listen, I have a brand, but if I didn't sign so many teams, if I didn't have the social media that we have, put in the marketing work that we have put, if they don't see that, they're not gonna give me the contract. They're not gonna give me a chance, right? Even if I'm best friends with them, like, they're not gonna put a product out there that is not the quality enough for Ronaldinho, so, or for this magnitude of event. So I think that started like a year ago from our hard work, to now in 20 days just close the deal, So that's what I think we really start.
Got it. Was it just like a one-day event, and what was the event for?
Yeah, it was a one-day event. It was for this very famous, J Balvin, right? J Balvin from Colombia. He's like a reggaeton artist, like, it's like huge. So now it's a new artist that is called Bless. They're just very huge in South America. And this guy just wanted to release his album, right? But he's very into soccer. Like, in South America, everybody loves soccer. It's like a religion. So he wanted to release his album, make a futsal game, right? Like a 5v5 game. And in the middle of the game, he wanted to release the album, sing the album, and attract a lot of people, right? So that was the main event, and it was one day. And it happened like that, right? To be honest, I was very surprised because it was huge. Like, I thought it was just gonna be something simple, not many people, but they have a lot of people, man. They have like 8,000 people, even 10, I heard, and so many artists, so many like huge people that you wouldn't even think they were gonna be there. So it was a great event, to be honest, to be part of, and I'm very glad and very proud of everybody.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, man.
Diego, reflecting on your early soccer days in Colombia, how do you think those formative years influenced you with your vision for Diaza Football?
I think when I was in Colombia playing, it built my character, right? It built who I am today. If it didn't build me like the 100%, at least it helped me to build, 80% of who I am today. especially when it comes to soccer. When I was playing in Colombia, I always had tough coaches, and I always have like tough environments, right? Like the neighborhood where I come from, it was very tough, and then I saw soccer as like rescuing me from that environment, right? So I used to leave the neighborhood and just go play soccer, and coaches were very tough on me, right? Like they needed me on time. They needed me to go to every practice. They didn't care if I was sick. They didn't care if I was this, if I was that. There was no excuse to be in practice, right? Because I wasn't on a scholarship, so I couldn't miss. So I had to be there, in every game, I was the best one in the field, and they would only say like, "Oh, you're not good enough." All the time, they would tell me like, "You're not good enough." Sometimes they would make me feel good, but a lot of times they were like, "You're not good enough. You're not good enough," because they just pushing you to be better, right? And I took it that way. I took it as like, "Okay, I'm not good enough. Let me show you," right? And then I just double the work. Oh, I'm not good enough yet. Let me show you. And I just keep on going and keep on going. And they keep on telling me, "Oh, you're not good enough." So I guess they detect that was my response, right? Like, oh, you think I'm not good enough? Then I'm just gonna double my work and I'm gonna be even better than I'm right now. I think they realize that's why that was the way they pushed me, because they wouldn't be like that with everybody, right? And I think that creates something in me where I don't give up, man. I don't take a no for an answer, and I always try to push. And even if people tell me you're not good enough, like I wouldn't listen. It will remind me to the coaches back home in Colombia, to the soccer, and I'll be like, "Oh, you don't think I'm good enough? Okay, let me show you." So I think that from that I take a lot of my personality today and who I am today.
Yeah, and that's a great mentality to have, because when you come from there, that makes you stronger. And when you're going up against other people that may not have those experiences or those tough times, you're gonna beat them. You're gonna win. So yeah, 100%. Um, Moving from Colombia to the U.S. at a young age must have been a significant transition. How did this move shape your understanding of soccer role in different cultures?
And there's two parts, right? There's the life and there's the soccer. So when I moved to Miami, right?
Mm,
And to be honest, everybody that moves from Colombia, they get sad. They get, I left my family, the language, whatever the case may be. It's very hard for me. To me, it was the best move ever, man. I mean, I was from this neighborhood that it was very tough. It was very dangerous. It was very like you had to be like this all the time, and you had to be one of those sometimes. You had to have that be careful with everything, and the city wasn't, because I'm from Bogota, so the city was tough. So I was like coming to this new paradise, Miami, the sun, the weather, the trees. The schools were massive. The school had like baseball field, soccer field, gym, this, that. And I was like, wow, like I'm feeling like I just upgrade my life. So I didn't feel sad at all. I think I even make me like even way happier. Yeah, I miss my family, right? Like I at that time I was a little sad for that, but when I got into soccer here in the US, I started loving it, right? Like playing in those fields. Um, in high school that I went to had like this bunch of fields. Man, I didn't want to get out from them, and it was just amazing to play there. Then I started going to these other parks, and these fields were like really nice. I used to play in dirt fields, like hole and everything, and coming to Miami, like playing in these fields was just the best thing that could happen to me. And that was in the aspect of my life, right? And then in soccer, the cultural clash, it was noticeable because in Bogota, Colombia, the soccer is more technical, right? Like, so you play more with the technique, like you're very technical, especially because there's a lot of futsal fields, and that's how you grow, right? Playing in those futsal fields around the city, in the street all the time. And that's what I used to do. So when I used to play in Colombia, it was more like technical, more movements, more this, more that. When I came to Miami, even in Miami and a lot of South Americans, the style was so different. It was only like fast paced, a lot of pressure, more running, this, that. And I was always very fast. When I was younger, I was very, very fast. So in Colombia, they always put me as a forward. And when I came here, I wasn't big enough to be a forward. They had like huge forwards. So they put me on the side and the winger. That's when I became a winger. And all I find myself sometimes was like running back and forth, running back and forth. So it changed my game because I was before like a lot of more technical, but then I became kind of like, like more like physical player than I was back home in Colombia. So I think those are two huge differences that you could say from the soccer world from Colombia to here.
Nice. Moving to Miami is like, Miami is one of the nicest places to live with in around the world. So
I
Miami,
know.
not a bad spot to go to first time. That's good.
I know, and even though I moved and I was working at a car wash. Like it was 95 degrees, and I was working because I came and I had to work. So I was in high school and working in car wash, working somewhere. Like whatever my stepdad would tell me to do, like I would do it. Like I was always working, so I was like, I don't care. But even that, like working and I was making money, so I was like, I remember I had $90 and I translated that to Colombian pesos, and I was like, man, what is this? I never done so much money in my life. So it was always like it was a blessing, and I always felt happy. I was never sad. I was just like, feeling like, oh, I just upgrade my life, even though I didn't have nothing, even though I had to work as a high school kid, and I didn't think nothing bad. I thought it was normal, right? Like at that age, obviously, then you talk to people and like they were surprised. Oh, you work? Oh, you do this? Oh, you live in that neighborhood? And to me, Miami is all the same, even with the bad places. To me, it's just normal.
Yeah, got it. Um, in regards to what year did you go to Miami?
I was 2009, 10, yeah, 2009.
2000. And how long were you there for?
In Miami, I did my 12th year in high school, like 2-3 years, because I got into 11th grade. That was junior year, and I did junior year, 12th year, and half of the other year, and then I went to college. So like 2 years and a half.
Hmm. Miami,
Yeah.
Miami. I was just down in Miami in November for Soccer X, and I love Miami. It's such a beautiful place. Weather's good. It's nice.
Yeah, but Miami is amazing. I miss it sometimes, but I like the city too.
Yeah. Having the right mentality is a cornerstone of Diaza Football. Could you share how this philosophy is reflected not just in your products, but also in your approach to team collaboration and customer relationships?
The Diaza mentality, you say, the right mentality that we
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's kind of or slogan, right? Or saying. I think everybody knows the Diaza mentality. I think when they see Diaza, they think about this, right? Everybody tagged me, everybody texted me, hey, Diaza mentality. Even the owners, the players. I think I had created a lot of good relationships through the brand, not just with the players, but with the owners of the teams, right? Obviously, they used to talk to me all the time, and they used to, place orders with me and all that. I mean, not anymore, but I still try to text them and tell them like, hey, how you feel, this and that, and they always tell me, hey, this is the product, this is the Diaza mentality. We're going for everything this year. They say not right now this year, every season is about to start, and they're all with the Diaza mentality, right? Like, oh, let's go to preseason with the right mentality. So I think that's what we have built, like that idea of hard working or perseverance, of never give up, of there's always more, right? Like I think that mentality the brand has projected to all the teams, and even though like a lot of teams come to us for that, right? And even we've been called the champions brand because every team, it's funny because there was a season that every team that signed with us, they got a silverware. Like everybody was a champion in that season, and we were like, what? So somebody started calling us the champions brand, and I think it reflects, right, because that's the message that we want to get. Not everybody is going to be a champion because it's soccer, but you have to put that work to be a champion, right? Like the path to be a champion is where you learn the most. No, not actually being the champion. So yeah, I think we have inject that mentality into the brand, and the message is being well received by everybody, right? Not just the players, but also the owners, the teams. I think they grasp that and that message, and they apply it to their game, to their lives, and that's what makes me more happy, man.
100%. Diego, why did you start the company? You could have chose to do anything else. You could have been an agent, a scout, or you could have started selling soccer cleats or cleat reviews. Hey, there's so much to do in soccer. Why did you choose apparel?
Oof, that's a good question, man. I think my family plays a big role in this, because they all used to work in fabrics, right? Making clothes, and back home in Colombia, they used to make jerseys, shorts for other people, right? Other brands. They used to be these like very small workers, having 3-4 machines doing, like work for other brands. But even when I was back home in Colombia, I used to make my own t-shirts. My mom used to like, hey mom, I used to draw and be like, hey mom, can you make me this? And she'd be like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like one of the t-shirts that you have back there, let's say I draw that t-shirt, right? And she will make that t-shirt for me. Or she will make like compression shorts or this or that. And I used to even sell them over there back home in Colombia. So when what happens was when COVID hits, with COVID, I found myself with our team, once again, and I thought I was like, that's it, man. Like I really need to look for something else. Like I was already older. I'm not getting to the MLS anymore. So I need a reality hits, and not reality because I create my own reality, but like bills and like, hey, now you have to pay this, now you have to pay that. So I had to make a decision to create something that will make me money. And one day I was in a Sunday league, and a friend told me like, hey, listen, I used to make these jerseys in Colombia. Do you know anybody that makes jerseys? And I was like, oh, you make this in Colombia? So I grab it, I send a picture to my aunt. I'm like, aunt, you think we can make 20 of this? And she's like, yeah, I can make it. And then she make it, and then she sent them, and I sold it for like really good money. And I was like, man, there's something here, and I always had the idea of like, design. I always loved soccer and clothing. Like I was always thinking about them too, but I never mixed the two of it. But when that happened, when I made that transition and I make that money, I was like, man, there's something here, right? So I started calling everybody. I was like, hey, I'm selling uniforms. Hey, I'm selling jerseys. Hey, I'm selling this customized. They always start saying yes to me. So I was like, wow, there could be something here, I stopped for a little bit because then the team in Milwaukee called me, and I signed for them. So I got to go play. And then it became like, okay, I trained the whole, half of the day, then work in the afternoons. And it was a cycle, but I keep on going, right? Like I never stopped from that day, and it has become what it is today.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those experiences really open your eyes, and then you're like, okay, this is where my bread and butter is. Let's go all in with it.
Yeah, and as like that transition happened, right? So that was like the click. We're like, okay, there's something here, right? But you never think like, oh, that's gonna make me a living, like, but maybe a side hustle, or maybe a quick buck, whatever, right? But then you start realizing, right? Because when I got to Milwaukee, the jerseys were like, the design was good, I like it, but the jerseys were really bad. Like they were huge on the players, right? And they were like all these color like this, and I was like, yo, this I didn't like that, right? Like I like fitted uniforms for professionals, So I was like, I don't know, I don't like this, man. Maybe, and I even thought, bro, my aunt's jerseys are better than this, like it was better than this. So I was like, man, I don't like this stuff. And then I thought about it. In Vegas life was the same. There was a jersey. I remember the training jerseys were horrible. Even Miami United were bad. And I was like, matter of fact, there's been bad jerseys my whole career. What if I create that jersey that everybody's gonna start like, fit in with details, with all that? That was my mission back then. And now it's just a reality that I create the product that it makes the difference, you know?
So your company started back in 2020.
Yeah, 2019 December, yeah, 2020.
So let's just go from 2019 to 2024 is, let's just say, 4.5 years, five.
Yeah.
Um, it started off with that first transaction, and then, obviously starting off a business, you're not that organized, you're still learning, you're still figuring things out. But 4 or 5 years later now, you're organized, you have systems in place, you have a team. So can you share, where you guys are now? How many, team members do you guys have? Are you guys creating the jerseys in the US, or is it still coming from Colombia to the US? Can you share a little bit about the business in regards to where you are today, and how many clients do you guys have and stuff like that?
Of course, Ben. Yeah, obviously, you started that transition, and then I started selling jerseys, basically, B2B, like, business to business, to teams. I used to call all my friends from every team that I had, and they all bought from me, right? Like, all of them. But then I started, that's it. There was no more friends in soccer, right? They were like huge friends, like USL and all that. So I was like, then now how do I get clients? So I started promoting the product online. Social media is key. Like, I believe if you have a business and you don't have it in social media, nobody's gonna know you and nobody's gonna notice you. That has become a fact, right? Like, before it was like, social media is something extra, but now I think it's a fact. And now it becomes like, you have to have it, and you have to run it good. Like, you have to post every day, you have to be consistent. If you don't do that, like, I don't think you're gonna succeed much, unless you're a software company or something like that. But when it comes to branding, image is everything. Everything comes through the eyes. So since the very beginning, like, if you used to, like, my first pictures, like, I used to take like really nice pictures, right? Like, I bought a Google phone. There's a Google Chrome phone, and I did my research, and that was the best phone that would take pictures, even better than the iPhone. So I bought that phone. I started taking pictures with that, posted in Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. So I started doing a little bit, advertising, and start getting more clients. Then the real thing, it happened 3 years ago. Yeah, I'll say 3 years ago, when I moved to New York. What happens was that I didn't play for New Amsterdam. I tried out for them, and the coach wanted to sign me, but the coach left. So whoever was in charge, he said, like, Diego, that's it. Like, we don't have space for you. So then I transitioned to a local team that I was called New York Hunter. New York Hunter was one of the best, and now is one of the local teams that are more famous for. Like, every baller wanted to play in Hunter. They used to pay money, and every baller used to be in that team. So everybody from the soccer, like, local in New York, knew who New York Hunter was. So I played for them. I started, balling with them. I played with them. I won the whole UPSL national thing with them. But we won it with the Diaza. I got a deal with the owner that let me put Diaza. In that time, it was called Jinga. I rebranded. So we put the brand on New York Hunter. We won the UPSL National Championship. Everybody, every single team in New York started calling me. We won the uniforms. We won the uniforms. We won New York Hunter uniforms. We won New York Hunter uniforms. Right? So I think that was what made me started becoming more like a business, right? And I transitioned from, it was me and the designer, it was two people. Then it was Chris, three. Then I started, gathering more people. I need a sales guy. I need this. I need that. Now we have a warehouse. Now we have offices. And now we have a team of 30 people. And we're looking to hire another 6. This year is going to be huge for us. So we need to hire a lot more people. And but it was fast. It was like you say, I didn't know anything about the business, right? I mean, I was always a hustler. I was always looking for, the money. I was always selling, like, candies at school, jerseys at school, this, there, I was washing cars at college, making some money to eat or whatever. But I never knew about systems. I never knew about hiring people, right? Dealing with personalities. As of right now, I'm dealing with personalities, like, who's soft, who's strong, who's this, who's that. You cannot talk the same to her and the same to him. You got to be different perspectives from everybody. So I have to develop myself. I was very nice always. I was very humble, and I had to become like kind of. Sometimes people take that as weakness, right? So I had to become very like a little more serious, a little more like like believe who I was and what I was building. Because I was like, I'm not sure about this, but now it's like, nah, I am the one. Like I am the one who's building this. I am the one who put everybody together to do it. Everybody's believing in me because I'm doing something right. So I had to believe myself, become another version of Diego. And I feel like every 6 months I change a lot. Like I have a lot more learnings, more experience. Like I know about CRMs, softwares, how to do marketing, how to do this, how to do that, social media, hiring people, DTF machines, numbers, factories. Uh, for your question is, we started in Colombia, but the demand was so high that I couldn't keep up the Colombian the factory. We do have it, but we have it in Colombia for the people that buy in Colombia because we sell in Colombia as well a lot, and it sells good. But then I decided to create my own factory. I bought 80% of the factory in Thailand, and that's where we get the products from.
Wait,
And
sorry,
I bought
you said the factory in where?
Thailand.
Thailand?
Yeah, Thailand. So I bought 80% of it. It was a big transaction from my part, but I decided to do it because now they only work with me, right? Like we own the factory, so every product that we want to develop, they have to do it. Like they work with my terms, with our terms, not with theirs, right? And that's what happens with a lot of brands that are in the come up because they had to work with somebody else's terms. So I learned that quick. And that's the other thing. You have to learn. You have to read. You have to do your research. You have to be very disciplined. If you're not, then you cannot gather all the information that you need to run a business. So it was a lot of work, man. And it's still a lot of work, man. There's this I work 17 hours a day sometimes. Now I have a daughter, so it's a little different. And I have a whole team, right? Before it was just like I told you, even when it was like 10 of us, I still work like 17 hours, 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week. And I was still playing, like, because I needed to get my mind off. And I used to work all these hours and go play soccer. So it paid a toll on me, though, physically, because I wasn't resting enough. So I decided to leave soccer, not play too much, just on the weekends. But it's tough, man. I'm a very competitive man, and I was getting paid as well. So I was like, I don't want to leave soccer because I still believe I'm a pro. All that stuff. So it was tough for me. It was tough, but I'm 30 years old now, man. So I mean, it was time, right? It was time to focus on the business, and I think that's why we build who we are today, right? And it's just gonna keep growing. Like I told you, now we're looking for more people, and it's been amazing, man. It's been tough, but I like it.
Yeah. What positions, what positions are you looking to fill?
Right now, we're looking for warehouse people, fulfillment that know about the product, know how to do heat press. We're also looking for marketing people. We're looking for one designer. We have a team of 6 designers, but we want to look for one because we want to be very quick when teams approach us, right? Like if they approach us, boom, 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 we want to have your design ready in 1-2 days. Like we don't want to wait, right? So I'm looking for one designer. The other one was, I was looking for 2 sales guys, but I already hired them. I just hired one top guy in the industry, so I think it's gonna be good,
man. Nice. Going back to the event that you recently just had with Ronaldinho, what success have you seen come out of that? Like what, I don't think it's success. It means, yes, it's success because it's a huge event, but what was the aftermath of that? Did you start getting more leads, more calls? What happened after the event?
Well, first of all, after that, my phone didn't stop ringing, right? Everybody was texting me. Everybody was like, yo, Ronaldinho, what's going on? Now everybody know Diaza, right? Now everybody want to know about Diaza. So that was the result, man. Everybody that we were dealing with, that we had leads, that were in the pipeline, they become Diaza because now they see the product being worn by this legend. they have confidence, right? Like, oh, this is a serious brand. They have ambitions. You know, they dealing with the right people. I want to be part of that, right? They don't see us anymore as like, oh, this come up brand, right? Like they see us as we're there, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, we're competing with, you know. I mean, I would never say that we're better than Nike because Nike is the god. You know, like to me, I used to love Nike. I used to be a Nike guy forever, but now it's like obviously I'm Diaza, you know. But we actually, you know, getting deals from them, you know, getting deals from Adidas, getting deals from Puma, and all these other brands that are, you know, local. Like we getting their deals because we offering something better. So they knew that, and as soon as the event came, they saw, oh, now like in their mind they were like, that's it, I'm going with Diaza. So me, my sales guys, like man, like and even everybody, you know, even the head of design, he said like, man, my phone doesn't stop ringing, man. Everybody's asking me about, you know, how do we come up with this? Why did we do it? How did we do it? And all that, and everybody's like, we're getting so much leads, man. Like I think right now is gonna be our biggest year for sure. And we already signed. I don't know if it was because of that, but it definitely play a role, you know, because you see, like now you can show, like, listen, I work with these kind of people, you know, so they be like, oh, this is a serious brand. So we just signed our first USL Championship team and our first USL Super, you know, the first women division team.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be huge, man. And we signed Chelsea in Italy, which is another pro team. So that's huge, man. I can't wait for the announcement because it's gonna be it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Diego, like I didn't know about your brand until I connected with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Connected with Chris, I looked at the website. I said, okay, jerseys, customizations. And then after I was on the website, I seen you guys on Instagram on the ad. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's set up like that. If you guys have all those connections in regards to data, Facebook, the Pixelate connected on the website, and then it got me. And then when I was on Instagram, that's why the ad popped up. But when I seen the ad and I seen Ronaldinho, I was like, okay, this is crazy. Because to have someone like that with that high, that's the highest profile you can have. Ronaldinho, he's won everything. To have him in your jersey, that's fabric. For him to be wearing it is huge. And I don't even know anything about your brand or anything like that. But once I seen that, it kind of like puts the stamp on it. Like that's it. It's high quality. It's top brand. That's it. But now learning more about you, learning more about the brand, it's really exciting because there's a lot of work that you put in to get where you are today. And with saying that, to hear about the Super League, which just recently got announced, they're going to be sanctioned as a Division One women's league. You know,
Mm-hmm.
competing with the what is it, the NWSL?
WSL, yeah.
You know, which their franchise fees are like $50 million plus. They're having huge success, making millions of dollars. And you know, I'm very biased towards USL League. You know, we'll talk about some stuff offline, but USL is doing amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to hear about that announcement in regards to the team. With saying that, I want to touch back to when you were talking about, you know, it was like a changing point in your personality in regards to there was certain people that you were dealing with that saw your humbleness and took advantage of it per se. And you have to become stronger per se or more confident belief in self. You know, I want to just touch on that a little bit more. Can you just share like you obviously had to realize, okay, this is what's happening because I'm being too nice or too humble. How did you go about changing that? Yeah, how'd you go about changing that within yourself?
It's hard. I think every change is hard if you know, like, because I come from a culture of at least a circle of people that is very like that, right? It's very humble. It's very don't say much. You know, it is what it is. This is what life gave us. There's no more than this. You know, like I come from that. You know, and when you're a kid, that's what you think, right? Like, oh, I gotta be humble. Like, I can't talk back, or I cannot give my opinion because nobody's gonna take me serious. So that was kind of the mentality that I was raised on, right? And this is when soccer plays a big role, because when I used to be like that in my personal life, but when I used to play soccer, I was the strongest guy. I was the fastest guy. I was the best guy in the field. So I felt different, I felt like, no, wait. Like, I am the guy, but I only do it in the field. Then when I was out of the field, I was back to, the humble, the guy. I was always funny. Like, I always try to, that's something that I think everybody, back home will say, that I was always funny, playing games and all that. But I wasn't as tough with life or with myself to be more, right? When I'm with soccer, it's like I've developed that, right? Like, I want to be more. I want to do this. I want to do that, And when it comes to the business, it was the same. I used to make deals, and people, man, there's dates that I don't want to say names, right? But there's to this day, like 3 years ago, people owe me money, like a lot of money. Like, we talk about like more than 10K, like a lot of money, right? And it's just one team, right? And it's like, that is like 15 teams that still owe me money. Owners that sit down with me and told me like, oh, right now I'm in a hard time. Please help me, man. I'm gonna put your brand out there, blah blah blah. And I used to trust these people, be humble and be like, man, no worries, I got you. But then it's like, you gotta separate the things, right? Like, business is business, and then however you are, you have to learn that. Like, sometimes I didn't know that, so you really need to learn how to separate the two. So I stopped. Then one day I realized, when people used to owe me so much money and I didn't even have to pay the rent, I was like, man, I'm killing myself for everybody here, and what am I doing? So I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna stop being that nice guy and giving everything for free, or whatever the case may be. And I'm gonna start being more serious about my stuff, because I work hard. Get me? These people think they work hard, and they always claim, oh, this and that. Why didn't you give me my uniform? Blah blah blah. So why can I say, why didn't you pay me, right? Why I have to wait for you? Like, this is my work. I gotta feed my daughter. Like, let's do something, right? So I decided to become that person, and it wasn't about like talking to people and be more like disrespectful. No, I'm always very respectful. But now I'm like, hey, this is how I work. These are the terms. If you're with me, let's do it. I'm 100%. If you're not, then let's not even bother. Even if you're my best friend, that's how I treat my people. Now I'm doing business with my sister, and I'm like, listen, I love you. You're my sister, but this is how I do business. Okay? If you respect that, we go ahead. If you don't respect that, then go somewhere else. I'm not going to give you discounts. I'm not going to, because my family is like, oh, the family discount, or this, or that, or the free Ronaldinho jersey, or the, how many people ask me for a free Ronaldinho jersey? Bro, I had people that I didn't talk for years, asking me for a Ronaldinho jersey. And I'm like, who are you, man? Why didn't you congratulate me when I was starting, right? Not that you have to, because that's one of the things that people expect, that other people had to buy your stuff because you started a business. Now, you don't have to buy it. It's fine. But hey, maybe you could like the picture with a simple like, with a simple like, with a simple subscribe, something so simple. That's how you can support your friend, your family. But my family didn't support me. My closest friends, they didn't. Now they believe, and I'm just like, I'm whatever, man. The day that Gary B, I used to listen a lot to Gary B, and it hit me one day when he said, like, my life started getting better when I had zero expectation of everybody. And I used to expect a lot from people. Like, I have expectations from my mom, from my dad, from my sister, from this, from that, from everybody. I have like, okay, I'm gonna help you, and maybe now you're gonna help me somehow, right? Like, I used to do things expecting people to return the favor, to at least say thank you, right? Because you do something and you have that expectation of, this person is gonna say thank you to me. You at least you expect that, right? So I started doing things without without even expecting none of that stuff. I used to hold the door, the woman would walk out and she wouldn't say anything. I used to get mad. At least say thank you, because I was opening the door without expectation in my mind. Now I open the door and I have zero expectation. If she says thank you, okay, cool. The same thing in life. If my mom said thank you, okay, thank you. If my sister said, I don't expect nothing from them. I love them, but I don't expect anything from anybody. And when I took that decision, man, my life been so much better, because I'm like, it's like I walk free, man. I do the things that I do for me, for my wife, for my daughter, and I don't have expectations for anybody, man. And whatever they do for me, thank you. I'll be always grateful. But if they don't do it, they don't have to do it, right? I'll do it myself. I know how to do a lot of things, so I will do it myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I definitely see a lot of different points in me and you. I'm the same way too. And it's so interesting when you start, moving that way, it's like that the stuff that you were looking for before comes even easier, comes more, which is it's so interesting. It's like when you don't want it, expect it, or care about it, that's when it really comes. So it's so interesting. And that's, I believe a lot in manifestation, and that's what they usually say. It's like release it and it'll come. So,
man,
so
definitely. Yeah.
What has been, when I ask you this question, I want the first thing that comes to mind to be that answer. What has been the biggest challenge that you faced in your company? The biggest one.
In my company?
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge is building the team that I really want to build, right? Changing people's behavior. I think that's the biggest thing that I ever, that's the hardest, right? Because systems are there. You're going to learn it, you're going to apply it, you're going to find the right one, and then you apply it, But the hardest thing is for your employees or for your team to have the same mentality as you, right? Now, because of Gary Vee, I used to think, everybody's going to work as hard as me. And that's a lie. You can't. Nobody's going to work as hard as the owner. Like, nobody. And if you expect that, if you have that expectation, then you're fucked. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to expect everybody work as hard as I do. But I do expect that if you tell me that you're going to work from 9 to 3, 9 to 5, I expect you to give me your 100%, So even though when they were giving me the 100%, sometimes the company was growing so fast and so quick that 100% wasn't enough. They were not organized enough. They were not, corporate enough. They were not professional enough. They were not this, but they were my team. So the hardest thing was that, do I let them go or do I teach them or do I build them? Get me? So I believe that I have built them. I don't know if they believe that, but I see that I have built. Like now I see them and I compare them to 2 years ago because it's the same people, and I see different. I see different people. I see. I had this guy. His name is Kenny. He's my sales guy, but he's the top guy. Like on sales, he sells like crazy. And everybody loves this guy. Everybody that has Diaza and is been in communication with him, they love him. He has a really great personality. And I think he was a little soft before. Now he's very, very strong. He's very professional. Like he's dressing better and he's going to the gym. He's applying that Diaza mentality, because it's not only to sell, it's to apply for your life, because he was gaining a lot of weight. And I was like, hey, man, got to be careful because we represent a brand here, It's not about just selling it. It's about applying it to your life. And it was difficult times because he didn't want to accept it, right? He's like, no worries, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say it like that, but that was the kind of vibe that I got from him until like he started getting it together. And, now he goes to the gym. He wakes up really early. I'm an early bird. Like I woke up at 4:30. And he used to say like, that's crazy. I will never do that, back in the day. And now he wakes up at that time, So it's like, he has been another person. And then we have, the graphic designer, the head of design, Christian Jamaica. He's the same. He used to come from Colombia, from the same mentality that I was, right? Very nice, very this, very that. But in his mind, or his culture was like, oh, you're not gonna be bigger than this, you're not gonna be bigger than that. So I had to build him and tell him, no, you are going to be bigger than him. You could do more. You could be better. You could do this, And even just like last week, we were not fighting, but saying things that he needs to do better, right? Because now the company is way different. Now he has, 6 people under him. Now he has to be a leader. He has to become, a Salesforce. He has to build their own systems. Like now it's not me doing all the work. They have to do their own work, If not, they're not gonna bring me what I need, and I have to find other people. And I don't want that with them because I've been working with them so hard, and I want it for them as well, right? Like, I don't want to win by myself. I want to win with my team. I want them to win, because I don't think they work for me. I think I work for them, So if they fail, I think I'm failing. I think the first one is me. That's all the thing that I learned from Gary Vee, and is how to be, like everything is you. It's your fault, Like you gotta. I forgot the word in English, but is how do you say that?
Like responsibility or accountability?
Yeah, accountability, right? Like accountability. You gotta be accountable for everything, right? Like and I used to be that. I used to blame everybody because I come from that culture, right? I come from that culture. Like it's not my fault. It's your fault. You're late because I'm late because I don't know. You told me to be here. Blah blah blah. Like I used to blame everybody. It's your fault, mom. It's your fault, dad. It's your fault. No, it is my fault. So when you have that accountability, you live like this as well because everything that you're gonna do is your responsibility. So if I see them fail, I think I'm failing. So I don't want that for them, But obviously, it comes to the point also that they need to put in the work. If they don't put the work, and I see that, and I identify that, then that then becomes not me, not my issue. It becomes their issue because I'm really trying hard, but they have to try even harder to become better, And if they don't want to, then that's not gonna be me. But I think they have and they have built themselves and I see different people. I see people focusing on Diaza, believing in Diaza, and that makes me very happy. But I think that's the hardest thing that I've done, to be honest.
Yeah, managing a team is not easy, and you guys got 30 people, so that's a huge accomplishment, and you guys are growing, and I'll ask for advice as the last question, but I have two more questions before we end off here. What's your future goals? Like, where do you want to see Diaza in the next 2 years? Let's go with 2 years because 2026 FIFA World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico.
Well, we have our biggest goal right now is to be in the World Cup. We want to be with a national team. We are in talks with like national teams. I don't think we're gonna have obviously a huge one like Colombia or I mean who knows but obviously they have contracts for years and years. We only got 2 years left, but I think since it's 42 teams, this World Cup coming up is more teams, so a lot more opportunities are knocking in the door. So I think if we get one of those teams that couldn't qualify before, but it was right there this year for sure, they're gonna qualify to the World Cup. So I mean, this World Cup they're gonna qualify. So we want to be there, right? We want to partner up with them, be their brand, and be in the World Cup. But besides that, obviously, we wanna keep growing in the US. I think we could become a big brand. Like I think we have the potential to become a really big brand and cover a lot of the pros. The USL, the USL2, USL1, USL Championship, USL Super academies. There's so much soccer here in the US that I think we could become something way big. And I have big plans for South America. I already have connections everywhere in Argentina, First Division, Ecuador, Colombia, and I'm already making a plan to bring the product over there and to get the bigger teams.
Amazing. Well, I hope that happens. and I'll be on the sideline cheering for you guys.
For
Um,
sure.
and the last question I'll ask is, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs? To myself, what advice would you give to myself and other entrepreneurs watching this that want to, I have, just for me personally, my context at our team, we have about 5 advisors.
Mhm.
So I'm managing high, well-seasoned people, professionals. I haven't built out a team yet, but we have an advisory board. But what advice would you give to me and entrepreneurs in regards to like building a team and any other advice?
I think the best advice that I could give to anybody is that you got to do more, right? If you really want it and you want to be different, you just got to do more, right? The more you do, the more you learn. The more you put in the hours, the more you can gain in your business. The more content you get out there, more people are gonna know you. The more jerseys we try to sell, the events you go to, the people you connect to, the more you do, the more it's gonna be bigger for your brand. And who knows, tomorrow you're gonna know this person that is gonna change the course of your life, or your brand. And it happened to me. It happened with Conte, right? Like I had two options to go back to Miami. When New Amsterdam said not to me, I had two options: go back to Miami, which I was ready to go, or stay with this club, right? That it was paying money and whatever. And you know what I say? I don't want to go back to Miami. I want to stay and see something different, right? I want to do more. Like I just don't want to be laying down in Miami or partying every weekend because I love Miami, but Miami is a party city. So I was like, I want to be in the city. I want to make connections. Let me see if I can start here, right? And the other thing is take action, right? Because a lot of us want it, right? Like I want to build this. I want to start my brand. I want to start my podcast. I want to start this. I want to start that. But they don't start. They don't do it because they're waiting for the right moment. And my man, if something I have learned, there's never the right moment. You know, I'm gonna confess something. When Ronaldinho said yes, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm ready. What if Ronaldinho doesn't like the brand? What if Ronaldinho doesn't like the clothing? What if Ronaldinho doesn't like the jacket? What if his zipper come out? Something like that. I started thinking. I was like, no, I'm not ready for that, man. I'm not. But I was like, nah, we got to do it, man. We got to do it. Even if we're not ready, we got to do it. And I did it, man. And when I shake Ronaldinho's hands, and Rodrigo told me, hey, here's Diego, the Diaza, he's the owner of Diaza. Man, this guy Ronaldinho goes to me, my man, and in Portuguese, I love it, man. Yo, this is great. This is really good, man. I love it. I love it. And I was like, no way. All those stats that I think, oh, Ronaldinho's not gonna like it. He was loving it, man. He was like wearing it. Like when you see the videos, like he's wearing it, like he's like with the jacket, and he didn't take it off, and he's like all these things, and then he just posted the video that we made. Diaza made it. He posted in his thing. They asked me like, hey, Ronaldinho's asking for your video. Can you send it to us? And I was like, of course. And then he posted in his own story. Obviously for branding rights and all that, because he got so many deals with other people and Nike, he couldn't tag us. But obviously, is something that he noticed our brand, right? Like, and he's been asking, and I mean, this is another secret. We might be doing something else with him. So it's that, man. It's like I was just scared, and I didn't think I was ready, but we are ready. Like you might not think you're ready, but you're ready. And even if you're not ready, just go for it, man. You gotta go because you're never gonna feel 100% ready. There's always gonna be something like I'm missing, right, or this or that. So you gotta go for it. Don't wait for the right moment. You make the moment, right, and take action and do more. I think those are the three advices that I can give to anybody that is building their own business, building something else. As soon as you start making a little bit more money and you can leave your job, regular, because a lot of people have regular jobs, and then there's the other business that they're trying to build. So as soon as you can leave this job and focus just on one thing here, I think that's the moment where it's the most scariest moment in your life, because you're gonna be like, what I'm gonna do, man. You know, I had this security, and now I'm not gonna have this, and it's gonna be the scariest moment of your life. But if you take that leap of faith and you believe and you have that Diaza mentality, you know, I think you could accomplish anything, man. Anything that you put your mind to, the human can gather. Now, you gotta be smart and you gotta be humble enough to understand that you need to learn. Because if you think you know, you would have built, you know, 3 businesses, 4, but you don't, right? And even if you think like, I got this, I know how to do it, like, no, because I was one of those guys. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I know. Oh shit! When you start learning the game, you're like, damn, I didn't know how to do this. You know, oh, this software works like that. Oh, now I had to call these people. Oh, lawyers are charging this much. Oh, I had to trademark the brand everywhere. Oh, I had to do money, and that means money. You know. So learn, man. Learn a lot. Be humble enough to understand that you don't know a lot, and that you have to gain that knowledge. So look, that those could be my 4 or 3 advices that I could give to you and anybody.
100%. Thank you for sharing that, Diego. I want to just correct something in regards to the second last question in regards
Yeah.
to cheering for you. I'm cheering for you, and I'm on the field with you, so we're gonna win. I'm on the field.
Man.
There we go.
No worries.
Yeah. Well, Diego, I want to, thank you for taking the time for being on the One Soccer Nation podcast today.
No, man, thank you for the invite. It's always great to talk about this, you know, soccer. I think there's a lot of passion in soccer. The next 5-7 years in this country is going to be huge for soccer. So anybody doing content like you know, putting yourself out there, like I'm proud of everybody, you know, and like it motivates me, right? That people like you are doing these things and that take the time and you know, these talks are just great, man. Business, soccer, that's what I love to do, man. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.